In horror, your sister shakes her head, gets up, and jumps out the window.
Oh my God.
Now that she's safe, it's time to deal with you. You shout at the undead nightmare.
Oh, yeah, now the pendant.
Use the pendant of destiny on the ghost.
What the Suddenly you feel quite helpless. You know that you are no longer part of the world of the living.
What?
I've seen all of them.
Okay.
Much to your horror, you realize that you are now a prisoner in the realm of the undead.
Oh.
Well, it didn't work.
Okay.
So that wasn't it. Okay.
Maybe use
Continue.
it on your...
Okay. Back here. Okay, that's fine though.
You can go up and save it
I don't need to.
when you get up there.
Yep, it's okay, so open.
Well, see, we had to... Oh, because you have to wait for the water to come in. Well, keep opening the... I mean, you might... It's...
Hit. There. Oops. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Okay. Now,
There's your rubber ducky.
open.
You still
Too
gotta
high.
wait for the water to
Yeah.
go up.
Too high. Oh, God. Oh, God. That is really cool, though. How
That's
it,
a
like,
neat
it,
idea.
It won't let you go until it's
Yeah, you
like
have to wait until you can actually like
the very
physically
end.
move
Yeah.
through.
Okay. Sis,
Yeah,
understand?
see, maybe the one time we have to hit something.
I'm sorry, sis. I didn't. Okay. Now, the goblet.
Think so?
I think so. It's a celestial water, so it's like celestial, like of the heavens.
Oh, it is from a church.
Yeah,
He looks hilarious.
he does. Okay, so now use.
Well,
He
examine him
looks like
first.
something from the real
Oh,
Ghostbusters.
he does.
Let's assess this. You know,
You-
beyond the shadow of doubt, that this creature is the source of all the evil here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Use.
Or can you actually just move out the window?
He'll probably kill you, huh?
Well, he probably would, huh?
There you
Drink this, you
Go.
say as you splash the water on the spirit. The hideous creature screams in pain at the touch of the water. In
So
an
if you don't
instant,
pick
the
that up,
menacing
you're
apparition
screwed.
fades
Yeah.
into nothingness. Leaving
Well, you don't pick it up, you're screwed
tangible
either way.
evidence
Yeah.
of his
Can't get out
having
the-
been there.
Yeah, you can't go back.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
think that thing opened until
That's
I took
true.
the goblet anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Now you can get
So
out. through
now
the window.
move through the window.
Hey!
Hey!
Climb through the window out onto the balcony. Oh, she's cute.
You are surprised that the air is so mild. In fact, a warm, pleasant breeze wafts past. A bright, warm sun begins to shine through the clouds. Then you see your sister. Sis, you're okay! You shout as you hug her. Of course I am, silly! I just went into this house a couple minutes ago. You such a
remember.
rotten liar, you bitch!
At least it seemed like a couple minutes ago. Yes, I fell asleep. Boy, what a nightmare I had. Guess we gotta find a new apartment.
You hug your sister again, thanking heaven above that it's all over.
Wow.
Ah, I love you, sis.
Your sister is now herself again. You are aware of a sense of peace and triumph. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? She asks hesitantly. You see fear in her eyes.
Oh, God.
With a
Wait a s-
smile, you reply.
Of course it was, sis. Just a real bad dream. Let's go home. As you and your sister step into the warm golden glow of the summer sun. Wow. Uninvited peace.
Peace.
Wow. 4 hours and
You got
24
a wink
minutes.
and a heart.
Oh, God.
Are there more? Oh, and she winks at you.
That's
Are there
cute.
more hearts based on how quickly you do it?
Probably not.
Come on. Game 257. Uninvited. Wow. Bang, 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 bang. Wowie. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves.
Nope, that's fine. That is fine.
Talk amongst yourselves,
I
you
just
stupid
want to
fuckers.
listen. I just want to listen to this sweet, sweet music.
Well, the people don't.
Yes, they do. Because it took us forever and a day. No thanks to you, and no thanks to you.
I wasn't allowed to.
That's true.
Can we do? Can we do anything else in there? Does the song keep going?
Nope.
Is it just
I think
it?
it's the hard
just,
locks.
it's just hard locks?
Yep.
All right.
That is your end screen.
That is it. Uninvited.
In the bank.
In the fucking bank, dude.
God. We were so damn close to the... You know, it took us literally like 2 hours, 2.5 hours to beat this game. It's just that we were stuck on that last screen for like an hour and a half.
Oh, it did eventually reset.
So
I'm more upset at the fact that... Well, we'll get into it, I guess. Chris.
Yeah, we will be getting into like the fun and stuff and difficulty.
Yes, and I want to...
Yeah.
I'll bring it up, but... Alright, so let's talk about... Oh, it just goes back to the thing and she gives the wink and the thumbs, the fingers.
Oh, nice.
The scissor fingers. What would you give Uninvited... Oh, by the way, this was 4 hours and...
24 minutes.
4 hours... Oh, we'll say 4:20.
That's fine.
4 hours, 20 minutes. Sad.
Well, like I said, there was a lot of downtime just because of the fact that like we didn't know exactly what to
We
do.
were stumped.
Yeah.
But that's the point of this game. It's a puzzle
That's
game.
exactly.
So I mean, it worked out. I mean, it's just the solution, the grand solution, was dumb,
Yeah,
anticlimactic, I would say.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into her. What would you give Uninvited for a difficulty? So I'm gonna look back at what we gave Deja Vu. If I remember what game that was. Deja Vu, we gave a 5. What was the other one? Shadowgate.
Shadowgate.
We gave a 5.
I mean, I would be saying like between a 4 and a 5, but I would say if we gave Shadowgate a 5, I mean, even that one you had a time limit on.
I almost feel
I
like
almost think it's a 4.
I'm willing to agree.
Because everything has a logical solution to it. It's just a matter of you finding that solution. Like, all the ghosts that you encounter have some item that you can use to kill them or, so that they won't kill you. You literally have unlimited continues.
Yeah.
You have a save feature. I don't know why you would even have a save feature unless you want to come back to the game, but you have a save feature, but you literally, if you die, you continue like the screen before you died.
I think it's more so if you have to stop.
The only difficulty comes from the fact that the game is a puzzle game and that it's cryptic at points.
It feels like this one had a much bigger glut of useless items.
Yes.
Than like Shadowgate or Deja Vu did.
Yes.
Although Deja Vu had quite a bit of useless items too, but
This one had a lot.
This one felt like a lot.
They even had a spell you didn't use.
that's true.
Yeah.
And the bottles. None of the liquids.
Or the book with the language that you couldn't even read. And that means that whole room had literally no bearing whatsoever on this entire game.
I was gonna say, I almost retroactively think we should give either Deja Vu or Shadowgate a bump up
For difficulty?
for difficulty.
No.
Because I mean, this one does feel, because of the glut of items, you think things are going to do stuff and they don't. So it almost gives it that extra difficulty.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Whereas in Shadowgate, like you said, you have that time limit.
Yeah.
If you fuck around too much, you're like, you have to start the whole game over because you just don't have enough time.
Yeah.
Deja Vu, I mean, if you don't get rid of all of those incriminating evidence.
But I also feel like the puzzles in Deja Vu and Shadowgate were not as...
Logical.
No, it's I almost feel like they weren't as complex as like in this one.
Think so?
Just in the sense that I mean you would use a spell or you would use an item, but I mean it's not like you didn't have to go back and forth and stuff like that, I guess.
That's true. There wasn't really a whole lot of backtracking.
The game really progressed almost naturally. Like you would find something and then you would use it like 2 rooms from there.
Yeah, and there was a lot of times where we found something. He's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. So I feel confident giving them the 5s and then giving this the 4.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, that's probably
Because
accurate.
I mean, yes, you have all of those useless items, but literally you actually and this is actually something that you can learn from the other Kemco Psycha games is that whenever there is a place where you can discard your items, that's when you know what is a useful item and what is a useless item. Although,
It's true.
why the fark could you not discard that filthy bowl?
You pain in the ass with that stupid ass bowl. Get off
Because
the bowl.
why? Why can't you discard it? It's not useful. It has no bearing on the game.
He's obsessed with this bowl. It's gonna haunt his dreams.
It literally will.
My God.
The only thing I think of is in the original version.
Yeah, this one, I think more so than the others, you can tell that there probably was a little bit more
Like I said,
complexity and more stuff to do in
The original version
in the
had an
computer
entire
game.
like other room where you had to like grab, it was like lanterns or something off of the fireplaces, and it would teleport you into a different room.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like there was an entire other room that's not even in this version.
Oh, I bet you, is it probably that room where it was like the planet on the right and
Yeah,
then
it
the
was,
star
it
and
was
then
the
there was just a
unmarked room.
blank door?
Yeah, it may have been.
Because that door never opened.
Well, and then there was also the other fireplace we couldn't go into that we didn't figure anything out with in this version.
Well, I mean, it'd be no different than any of the other rooms that had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah,
The
so-
bathrooms had nothing to do with anything other than that last one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and just the fact of how cryptic, non-cryptic the boss was.
To be quite
Boss.
honest, nothing in this game was cryptic because they gave you enough context clues of what you were looking for that it was very easy to navigate, except for that boss.
Yes.
The boss, not boss. It wasn't a
Well,
boss,
even if you
but-
think about it, like the cookie. How would you know to use the axe on the cookie jar?
'cause
or-
it said
and-
that it
I
was
mean,
a very hard material.
It wants him. But yeah, but
But then again,
you want to. This thing wants food. Well, you think I have fucking salami?
I have
That's
salami.
food.
What's more delicious than freaking salami?
Yeah, like so. There were things that like
Yeah.
made sense, but also didn't make sense. Like there were other ways that you could have solved these puzzles, but it wasn't the way they wanted you to solve them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird. But again,
It was.
we'll stick with the 4 because I think that's accurate. But yeah, that it's the fact that you could never use something without picking it up, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you think you can just pick up dude and throw him in the pit? Because any other time you try to interact with him, he just throws you in.
Yeah, he wakes up and he's,
It's
And
like
that's
it almost defies the logic of the game solving it that way. I almost feel like there was supposed to be another solution. They're like, whatever. Like, because it's like I said, any other interaction with him, he wakes up and throws you in the pit. So why would you think that you can use
that you could use him to grab him. Yeah.
Logically thinking, if any interaction makes him wake up, well, don't you think he'd notice you're gonna pick his ass up?
Mm-hmm.
It's cryptic, it's stupid to me. Like that was stupid.
Yeah.
How could you not remember that?
Actually-
It's so stupid. I'll never forget it.
It's dumb, but like I said, you guys were overthinking because you were thinking, oh, we've got all this stuff we've never used. It has to be these things, and that's why I said you were overthinking. Is because you're looking at a bunch of useless like MacGuffins that don't do anything for what they're doing.
True.
Same thing with the spell. Like you keep looking at that spell, and that spell,
Well, and I will say,
from what I could find, did nothing in this
and
version.
I will say too, since we're talking, we're going to be going into fun too. I did enjoy this game, but the ending actually, it affected my fun.
It was just him.
Yeah.
I actually liked the demon part where you smack your sister and the demon comes out. That was badass. I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
But the wizard himself was the only thing I hated.
Yeah, me too.
Paul's first. I'm not gonna hit her, and starts doing
know.
everything else. I was trying so hard not to just let.
All of my instincts say never hit a girl. It's sorry. It's how I've been born and raised.
And all of my instincts say they fought for equal rights. They deserve it. In terms of video game logic, Power Trip Gaming does not condone hitting women.
Wow. And
Moving on to fun.
we're canceled.
No.
So yeah.
But
so-
in terms of the game, like it like you said, you fight that instinct. Well, why would I hit her? Like you don't want
Yeah.
to harm your sister.
Nope.
But a sobering slap. All right, that did it. I guess it was a puzzle unto itself.
Yeah, it really was.
Chris, how the hell did you ever beat this?
He didn't. He's
He
lying to us.
didn't. He truly
I
didn't.
never heard of this game until today.
Yeah,
Son
of
of
course
a
he didn't.
bitch.
Of course he didn't.
No, I want to know what your experience was with this game because obviously you didn't have us around to like help you with certain puzzles and stuff, so you kind of did it on your own.
Well, this one, I had when I was a kid. I went and bought this one. I never beat it when I was a kid. And I think the big thing was the damn ruby.
The ruby.
I think that's part of the reason why I think the difficulty should be a 5 is because you get that ruby and you don't know a couple things. You don't know it's the ruby killing you, and you don't know that you can only drop the ruby in 3 different rooms. So I never beat this when I was a kid. And then,
which makes sense because as a kid, your instinct is to pick everything up like we did.
Yeah.
Like children.
And yeah, exactly. Well, and
No, I'm kidding.
and what would be difficult is that if you picked up that key and the ruby right out of the starting gate, you won't know if the message you're getting where it's like, oh, there's like whatever the warning is that you're getting, you don't know if it's the ruby generating that or if that's the game itself basically pulling the shadow gate.
and
guess.
you don't know. It
Yeah.
could be maybe I need to lie down and get rest. Maybe I got to drink something from one of the bottles.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's an item or if you need rest or something. So I do remember I did not beat it when I was a kid, and I do remember the skull coming up because you had the ruby. And you're never going to know that the ruby is causing it.
Yeah.
It'll be really hard to figure out, especially when you can't, at least with the ruby, you can't drop except in those 3
Yeah.
different
Locations,
rooms.
yeah.
Other than if you examine it before you pick it up, and like you said, it emanates that strange
Right away,
energy, that would be like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, right
So-
away he picked up on that.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
It's one of only 2 items that did something like that. The other was the box that tells you it's warm when you pick it up.
Yeah.
Those are like every other item. It seemed just like a normal item.
And to be quite honest, when I picked up that box, I was worried too because I thought, "Oh crap, I got to get rid of this thing before it does the same thing
And
that
it
the
was
ruby
gonna
did to
do
me."
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never beat it then, but then I got the limited run version for the PS4 that had Shadowgate, Deja Vu, and Uninvited on that disc, and I beat it on that.
This
But-
motherfucker played this game during the PlayStation 4 era, which was only how many years ago? And you couldn't remember how you beat the game?
I never said I didn't remember.
You are
of a
so
bitch.
full of crap.
I totally forgot.
He had old man brain for a second.
So I did beat it, and the only thing I had to look up was the ruby. I didn't know why I kept dying.
Yeah.
Because
And-
really, you with that ruby, you can't beat the game.
I don't think
you
so.
You have to ditch it.
I don't think so because the time, like, and if it's based on the amount of actions you take, like there's
I
no
think it's
way.
like 20 action.
Yeah, you might be able to, if you know the exact order in which to do everything.
I
You
don't-
might have just enough time to.
But
beat
I
the
still
game.
don't think. But I still don't think that even if you
Because it's
run
not
everything
movements,
perfectly.
It's actions.
Yeah.
if you run everything perfectly, I still don't think you could do it in like less than 20 or 30 actions. I just don't
Yeah.
think so.
Play it again.
Yeah, sure.
But
So-
yeah, I mean, it's an interesting. Well, that's a good point. I don't know if it'll affect our difficulty score, but
No.
I can
No.
see where that would.
You know, I do have to say, though, I think, like Paul said, I guess it could affect difficulty, but I think, logically, this is the one that's probably the easiest.
I actually
Now
agree
that-
with that.
Paul mentioned it. The only thing would be the ruby, and honestly, who's going to throw a spider at a ghost? That one, I think, is...
That was a little.
That one was. It's like it was a stretch.
Yeah.
But
like,
everything else,
the
even throwing
monster-
the guy in there...
The monster who stops at the plate. It's like obviously we need to feed him something, and then you find a cookie jar, and you find a cookie.
Like I said,
And-
my logical thought for
Yeah.
getting rid of that ghost was to cover yourself in something because he sprays acid on you.
Yeah.
Well, you coat yourself in something, the acid won't work. That was
Yeah.
my logic, not throw a pocket spider at him. Why would you think
Or-
that would be a thing?
Or because of the acid using like the laundry soap as like a
A neutral agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ghost, honestly, that was just a slip up. We should have grabbed the candles and lit them. That's something
And
normally you would do.
And I even thought about doing the lighting the candles, and because I was like, there's a candle thing there, you could probably light it, and I didn't even think.
Because we had the one.
Yeah, I
in our
completely forgot
inventory.
to do that, and then
Well,
I
it
never
just-
came back to
so-
it.
Well,
I didn't
when
think
you
it
clicked on
seemed-
them, when you clicked on them when they weren't lit, though, it said you couldn't pick them up or something.
I think he was off the hitbox.
No,
for
I wasn't
it.
on the right
okay.
hitbox.
But even
yeah.
so, I wouldn't have think you could picked it up. It was
Yeah.
so big.
It
like
was big.
it wasn't like a small little candelabra. Like it was
yeah,
like
it's not something that you can just
fucking,
put in your
like-
pockets.
It was like a tiki torch.
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ, you're just gonna carry that around the rest of the game? I guess so. Well,
Well,
then
your
again, we-
infinite pockets, everything
pots
else
and pans and bowls. So I guess that makes sense.
I think you're right.
But-
I think a 4 is right.
Yeah.
Because
Because-
logically, the puzzles, other than the spider,
Yeah. The
What's it
game almost
called?
it felt like a point and click Resident Evil kind of.
It did.
Yeah, and I honestly want to say like I agree. This one feels like the easiest because to me it's the most logical. Like Deja Vu was a little more cryptic because like that's the point. You're solving a mystery. Like
Yeah,
you're
detective
framed.
It was
work in that
crime
one.
noir.
Yes,
yeah.
everyone's out to get you. Like I guess
Yep.
this one kind of is too, but like and then Shadowgate you have that
they have
running
some
timer.
weird things.
And Shadowgate's weird because it's more
Unlogical.
fantastical, like it's wizards and magic and shit. Like doesn't make a lot of sense if you think about it logically. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
some of them were unlogical in there.
Yeah. So this one it feels more grounded in reality, even though it's ghosts and demons and shit. It's
Yeah.
not real, but
Yeah.
it feels more like I'm John Everyman. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I liked that. So I guess that will slip into fun with that. We gave Deja Vu an 8 and Shadowgate a 7. Just to give you frame of reference for where we're at. Rounding out the Kemco trilogy on the NES, what would you give
Uninvited.
Uninvited. What would you give
Shadowgate.
Uninvited for fun?
Shadowgate 2.0.
Yeah. Shadowgate 6 to Devour!
I'm gonna divert this to you first. I wanna hear what your opinion is on this.
So I did really like the music. I mean, these games all had fantastic soundtracks. I liked the one in Deja Vu. I liked the one in Shadowgate. I liked this one. Obviously, it got grating as we're, wandering around for 2 hours trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it was really well done. I liked
was.
the environments a lot. They
do.
all felt different enough
I
to
do
where, like, it didn't feel like you were just wandering the same hallways all the time. I liked the creatures. The little dancing dude was adorable.
Yeah, he really was.
I loved him. The story, kind of weak, in my opinion. Like, I don't think they did enough to really give you a good narrative in terms of, like, what you're doing. Because, like, okay, there's wizard guy, Shadar, or whatever. What was his name? Drakan?
Draken.
I don't... Okay,
Like
so
a dragon.
he's a bad wizard? So then who was...
Manchu?
fucking Fu Manchu from Gremlins. Like, what was... Like,
Yeah,
What
that
was the
was
point
a
of
little
that?
odd.
Yeah.
it's like, it kind of was... It didn't make a whole lot of sense.
I'm guessing that's the master, maybe.
That would be my thought.
Yeah.
Because then, maybe
'Cause
he was
says
the
he sealed them
master.
in there or whatever,
Yeah.
but then he got trapped as well.
But other than that, I liked a lot of it. It did have a very large glut of useless items, which I hate. That kind of annoys me when you almost have too many options.
I think you had more useless than
Useful.
items you use.
Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. I would say 1/4 of the items you actually use in this game, if that.
Yep.
I like the spells. I think they gave you enough context of the description of the spells to know what they're for.
Yeah.
Like the Thundere spell to get rid of the dogs, the Stellini to freeze the spider. It was really cool.
Dal.
Yeah, like that was really neat. I liked that idea. It was better than Epor and what was some of the other ones from
I don't
Shadowgate.
remember any of the other ones.
Humana, I think, was one of them. Like they were a bunch of weird ones.
It's the one that turns you into like a balloon or something like that.
Yeah,
Or you're lighter than helium.
but overall, I'd say I might echo it with Shadowgate. I think I'd give it a 7.
I'm gonna agree with that. I think that I would have what?
No, go ahead.
I was almost at that 8
I was too.
because I
I was almost
truly
at the 8.
I truly enjoyed this game.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I loved the location. I loved how it did feel like a Resident Evil, and I felt like it was nice because there was no time limit. You could explore as you
At your leisure.
at your leisure, and the puzzles were, for the most part, very rational.
Yes.
I loved that there was nods to, there was Easter eggs to Shadowgate in here.
Oh, yeah,
And there was the Ace
gramophone.
Harding, and there was the Deja Vu reference as well, too, where Ace Harding is buried. And you actually had to go near, like, a dead end on the opposite side of where you had to go in
Yeah.
order to find that, too. So
That was cool.
I'm glad that we ended up finding that. So it was truly amazing. Where I then started to diverge, where I'm like, okay, maybe it's not quite to the level of Deja Vu, or it will get that 8, is because of the fact that all of the items, which I am a-okay with that they put red herrings in there, because that adds to the whole puzzle element.
Right. Every single
fine.
one of those games had it. I'm pretty sure Shadowgate had items you didn't use too.
But we dealt with this in I think it was Low G Man, and we also dealt with this in, was it Shadow of the Ninja, where there are functions in the game that you have no idea are a part of the game until you have to use them, and the enemy, that Draken, was exactly the same. Is every time we were trying to talk to him, every time we were trying to hit him, every time we were trying to use something on him, he would wake up. So it's like, why would you assume that you could use him or click on use and on him and it wasn't going to kill you too, other than you were just going to do trial and error?
Yeah.
And as a result of that, it literally made this game an hour longer than it had to be. For us,
Yes.
anyways.
I agree with you, actually. I was at that 8 until him.
Exactly.
Because, and it was cool. Like, I like the idea, but it felt so stupid and anticlimactic.
Had there been something more to... Maybe if it was different, if there was a different way to interact with him, or there was some other item that you could use in order to deal with the threat, I truly think that I would have landed at that 8, possibly even higher, who knows. But this was almost my favorite of the point-and-click series.
Mm.
And I had never played this game before today.
Yeah, me neither.
And it was almost my favorite. But
I was afraid this was going to take a lot longer. I thought we were going to get overwhelmed with it, because these games, we saw how many rooms we could explore, and
yeah.
it's like, oh, motherfuck.
yeah.
But I feel like,
No, each
But
room
yeah,
was
finish
almost, for the most part, each room was pretty simple.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
there was one key thing that you would pick up, or two things and stuff, and then you would just, like, that's it. That's the room.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted your thought.
Yeah, no,
there.
no, it's okay. I'm done.
But I feel like the thing with Drakan should have been, like, you find these things randomly throughout your experience, throughout this mansion and the things, and you use items in a sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the end of Immortal. You remember the end of Immortal?
I do, yeah.
We haven't played on the channel yet, but
No.
Paul and I have beaten it in our personal
Long time ago, yeah.
lives.
Mhm.
But it's that whole end sequence of the Immortal is you basically go through a sequence of using spells and timing to defeat the final boss. I feel like this could have been something like that too, where you find 3 or 4 items scattered around this landscape, and then he wakes up. Okay, now you gotta fight him. Use this. Oh, something happens. Then you use this. Oh no, he recoils back. Shoot a magic dart at him or something with the pendant, and it knocks him into the hole.
Yeah.
It feels like they just ran out of ideas. Just throw him in the pit.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of writing is that? You're telling a narrative,
This guy was...
and that's where the point drops.
This guy was able to destroy his master and freeze him in ice or whatever, where he could only communicate with his clone self or whatever,
Yeah.
his astral self. Yet
Couldn't have just pushed him in a pit?
the way to kill this guy is to just throw him in a pit.
Yeah. And the pit was given no context.
Yeah.
Like, if there had been more... And that's kind of where I feel like why this one is lesser than Deja Vu. Deja Vu was... It was a perfect crime noir.
It was.
So much context.
And that's why I still to this day, it's my favorite of the point and click series, just
Yeah.
because. And a little part of me too is I just like that it takes place like it was based around like the Chicagoland area, which is not too far from us. So
Right.
So it was just a nice touch.
But like that one, you had so much context. People talk. You're conversing with people. You're getting your clues and stuff. This one, like I get you're by yourself and you're uninvited, but like there could have been more diaries you found throughout the thing that explained, backstory more. You know what I mean? Could have given you more hints on finding these items that you need to battle him at the end, but just felt like a missed opportunity.
It did.
So that's where the point kind of drops off for me and why it's a 7.
Yeah.
Still a lot of great pieces.
Still a lot of great pieces. Still, I had a fun time with this game.
I really did.
Even being frustrated, I still had a really good time with this game.
Even with Chris being useless, it was a good recommendation. We appreciate it.
It was.
We appreciate it.
It's good to know. Good to know that we're still better at games than you are. So.
Here's my other tier.
Yeah.
All right, what would you give it for fun, Chris?
So this one's my second favorite. I like Shadowgate the most. I would probably say a 7. I want to reach to an 8.
Yeah.
But, probably 7, 8. Probably going with a 7. I can't give it. You guys gave Shadowgate a 7, so I feel I can't give it more than Shadowgate, just because.
Personal
that's
pride.
the one I like the most.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I would say a 7.
Oh, I also I forgot to say too. Thanks Nintendo Power. Thanks Nintendo Power.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's on par. I mean, Kemco did great games on the NES.
They did.
Not so much anymore, but I mean, I don't even know if it's the
Are
same
they even
kind
still
of Kemco.
around?
So have you ever seen, if you go to like the eShops of like a PlayStation or Switch, like what was one of them? Alphadia Genesis, I think, is one. Monochrome.
They're
Mobius.
still
like,
making some, but it's very like indie.
You can almost they almost
games.
feel like RPG Maker games.
Yeah.
And they all feel exactly the same. I downloaded a bunch on my phone a while back, like a long time ago when I first got like a phone able to play games, and they were like $3, $4. I'm like, all right, I'll play them, and they're boring as fuck. At least for me, they were, because they all feel exactly the same. If I see Kemco on it for a developer, hard pass. Like I have yet to find one that's actually either deep enough to be like fun, or it's like. You can tell when indie developers try to be too deep in it, and it just feels awkward. And that's what Kemco feels like now. Like I said, I don't know if it's the same kind of Kemco that like it was back in this era, if it, something weird, but yeah.
If they did more of these, I'd be totally in.
I really want to play Shadowgate 64 on the channel. I would love to do
That
that.
one.
That could be one you come in for, because I know you like
and
Shadowgate
Beyond
so much.
Shadowgate.
That's right. I always forget about
Beyond
that one.
Shadowgate was for the
Turbo
the
CD.
Turbo, yeah.
Yeah, I think those would be a lot of fun to do on this channel.
Yeah, Shadowgate 64.
I do.
It's a good. It's alright. I beat
the
that
Trials
one.
of Doom or something like that. I think.
I had to buy that one when it came out.
And I mean, realistically, we could do Ace Harding 2 or
Yes, we could.
Deja Vu 2.
Deja
Yeah,
Vu
we could
2.
on the Game Boy player.
Yeah.
GameCube.
So even that would be kind of
Or
fun
Super
to
Game
go
Boy.
through at one
Or
point
Super
or
Game
another.
Boy, yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be neat.
Oh no, not Super Game Boy, because
It was a Game Boy
do
Color.
Super-
Super Game Boy 2 was the one that you could play Game Boy Color games on, but Super Game Boy 2 didn't. It only came out in Japan, not here.
Which was weird, because you could play the Pokemon trading card game on the Super Game Boy.
Yes, you can, because you.
But I thought that was a Game Boy Color game.
So technically, Pokemon Yellow is a Game Boy Color game too, but you could play it on an original.
It's so weird, isn't it?
It's it has to do with the type of cartridge that's used, and so that one was one of the old style cartridges,
I didn't know
so
that.
that's why it still works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we got some Shadowgates and Deja Vu 2s to do.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, so what did you pay for Uninvited?
So it's been a long time, but I want to say that this was near the end of the games that I needed, probably like last 50-ish games, and I think I ended up paying about $30 for this game.
Whew.
So it was
That's a hefty jalapeno.
It was expensive at the time,
Yeah.
and I think when I bought it, it was like a $40 game, so I got it for $30.
Well, that's a good deal then.
Yeah.
Well, as of this video on pricecharting.com, it goes for $74.57.
Loose.
I'm willing to say that I don't believe that's worth it.
It's just
And I
it's
feel
so
you will agree.
yeah, because it's pricey. I think this one goes for what it does because it's a decent game. It's good, but it's pretty uncommon. You don't see Uninvited all that often.
No.
And so I think that at that price point, what you get out of the game is not gonna be enough to. It's not gonna be enough. But I mean, there's a lot of games like that where Little Samson is a fantastic game, but is it worth over $2,000? Nope, definitely not. I would not pay that for it.
No.
So
I agree. I think that's a little too... I would go his route.
yeah.
Get the 3-pack.
Get the yes. If
on
you
the
have
PS4.
ways like download it on like an e-store or on PlayStation Network or whatever. Get the compilations of like that limited run had with all of the 3 point-and-click Kemco games. If there is some way to get this game for $10, $20, $30 even, I would say yes, definitely worth it. But at $75, that's a little bit too expensive.
Yeah, and it's... But, like, Shadow... this one would have been interesting if they kind of broke the mold a little bit and you could have solved puzzles in different ways.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you thrown the salami on there instead of the cookie.
Yeah.
All right, different solution. Like, there were multiple ways to solve puzzles. Could have made this, like... I mean, the game already stands out amongst its predecessors, but I think that would have been a cool other layer to it, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, $75, that's...
A little bit too pricey.
A little high there.
That's a lot.
Too high. Yep. That's a spicy meatball.
That's a spicy meatball. So, that'll do it. That is
will do
a
it.
4 for difficulty, 7 for fun.
Not necessarily worth it at 75, but
Sadly, no.
but for cheaper, yes, definitely.
So, with that, you can always come up with another suggestion for us to play, NES or non-NES related,
Yes.
at nespowertrip@gmail.com, or comment on the videos. We always love seeing the comments.
Yes, we do. Even if you're making fun of us and telling us not to play no stupid duck game, we still like your comments.
Tell us how dumb we are.
Yeah.
We always enjoy that.
Or how much better Kevin is at games than we are.
When we go to the same room 5 times because the map layout is confusing. You can always listen to us on iTunes and Spotify, the PTG Powercast, where we talk about whatever the heck we feel like.
Everything and anything.
That's right. Anything else?
Yeah, not really.
That'll do her.
Chris has a very short memory.
Yeah.
I want to say it's because of all the games he's beaten in his years,
Maybe.
but I'm pretty sure it's not that many.
No. Nope.
So next time on Power Trap,
We'll play something better.
booyah! Nicely done, dude. I'm glad we figured it out.
Yeah. And I figured it out legit, too.
Of course you did.
Figured it out legit.
I'm proud of you, buddy.
And I did it while you were in the bathroom.
Motherfuck.